What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Riding Dad channel. I am the Riding Dad, Chris. This is my Honda Grom. These are some brand spanking new fancy bars. Let's roll the intro first.
Riding Dad YouTube channel, it's the Riding Dad YouTube channel, it's the Riding Dad YouTube channel, it's the Riding Dad.
All right, so these quite obviously are from Pro Taper. They are the KLX 110/DRZ 110 bars. These are the 7/8. I went with the stock bar size. It comes with a 7/8 size. This bar specifically, the KLX 110 size, this is going to be very close to factory specs for the Grom, for the bar. I did some measurements. It's kind of hard to put them, very close to each other, but I will, as soon as I get this bar, the stock bar off, I will lay them down on the table so you can see exactly what the difference is going to be like. But these are a tad bit wider, well, a couple inches wider, and then they should be a little bit more straight versus pulled back, and they should be slightly taller, I believe, but we're gonna double check. This is kind of like the go-to bar that everybody uses. There are a couple other, Renthal makes one that's fairly similar. I believe it's maybe a little bit taller, if anything, and maybe even a little bit straighter, but it's more expensive. This is like a $60 bar. You can find them on Amazon all day, different colors. I just happen to go with, everybody goes with black, like most people do for everything for bike builds nowadays. So I just want it to be a little different. I went ahead and got this, it's like the gunmetal gray finish. This finish matches with the gas tank and some accents and stuff on the Grom, so I think it will actually work pretty well. Plus, most of this is going to be covered in black stuff anyway, but they do, I believe they have a gold, maybe a red in this size, I'm not sure. Unfortunately, with these smaller sizes, Pro Taper doesn't offer a lot of their color choices like they do in some of the larger sizes, which I don't understand why. This is a really simple job. I don't know if I did say it already or not, but with this bar being so close to factory, you are not going to have to swap out any of the cables or add any extensions to any of the electricals or anything like that. It's going to be a completely easy bar swap. The Grom is not a throttle by wire, meaning it has an old school throttle cable setup, 2 cables. That does mean it's going to be a little bit more work than, changing something out on like a Harley or something like that. As far as the throttle, you are going to have to take the throttle cables off, which is super simple. I've done it before. It's easy. If I can do it, you can do it. But it is something to note. It's more complicated than just taking a grip off. You do have to take them off and then readjust them when you put the new bars back on, but I'll explain all that so you guys can see exactly what I do and how I do it. So I think it is time to head on over to the bike. We got to take the stock bar off. To do that, we're gonna have to take some of the electronics and stuff off of it, the grips and everything as well. We'll say that the grips, I'm reusing the grips. I don't mind too much about the grips. Obviously, if you had new grips, this would be an even easier process. You can just cut the old ones off. I don't have new grips. Like I just said, I'm not using new grips. So I'm not gonna cut the old ones off because I still need them. So I am gonna try maybe a little bit of compressed air, maybe like a really small flathead screwdriver or something like that, to just kind of pry the clutch side off. The throttle side is going to come off on the actual tube. I can leave that on. Another thing I want to touch on real quick before we head on over there, I've had a few people, 2 or 3-ish, complain that not only is my music choice not up to their standards, but that listening to music during installs is just annoying and stupid. So I don't think so. I've watched install videos my whole YouTube life with music during installs. I mean, what else are you gonna do? But I'm just gonna try something a little different today, so I would appreciate your guys' feedback on it. If you like this style more, let me know. It's certainly easier for me to do this style with no music and no editing and narrating after the fact, separate recorder, all that stuff is easier on me. So I've been doing it the harder way. So if you guys like this way better, I'll do it this way. It doesn't bother me, whatever you guys wanna watch. I don't know. I prefer music when I watch the installs. I can take it or leave it though. It's not like I need it, so whatever. This I'm gonna do, you'll just hear, I'll still fast forward through stuff because there's no reason you need to watch me unscrew a bolt for 30, 40 seconds at a time. So Like I said though, it will be silent. There's no music. You're just gonna hear me talk the whole time and do it. It's an easy install though. That's why I chose to do this kind of different style for this specifically, because this is a fairly self-explanatory, straightforward, easy install, but I'm sure we'll run into some problem with something. I'm gonna try really hard not to strip the screws on the bar ends, because everybody says those are in there really, really tight and they are hard to get out without stripping. So worst case scenario, I have a Dremel, but we'll see. All right, let's head over to the bike. All right, like I said, I didn't want to take any chances, so I just went ahead and put one on the end of this so I could push it and give it some decent amount of torque. So we'll see. Oh, okay. Well, I guess they are on there pretty good, because I guess my bit broke. All right, let's get a new bit. All right, I got a new bit. I guess we'll try this now. Well, I guess I'm not supposed to use these. All right, I'm not sure how many bits I'm gonna go through, but I did go ahead and get another one. I'm just gonna try it with the hammer drill just to see if that kind of helps a little bit, but we'll see. Hopefully I don't break another one. I only have so many of these left. All right, I guess we're gonna try an old-fashioned screwdriver. Well, apparently the fire did the trick. That broke loose really quick. Obviously we gotta take this part off. Like I said, we gotta just take everything off of the handlebars right now. So I'll just go ahead and fast forward a little bit through this process till we get over to the throttle cable, and I'll explain what I'm doing over there, because it's a little bit more complicated. All right, onto this side. Let's try this screw. Wish me luck. Whoa, look at that. Perfect. All right, now we're down to the actual throttle. You're gonna have to go ahead and loosen these nuts and then unscrew it, just like the clutch side, like the actual control housing, and then I'll show you what we get into when we get there. All right, so scratch everything I just said about having to adjust these and everything. I just realized that there actually is enough slack. When you tilt it all the way, you have a little bit of extra in there for the throttle cables. So you actually can just pull it off of the bar, which means we didn't have to go as in depth as we did, but it's okay. It's not gonna hurt anything. And now you get to see what it looks like on the inside, I guess. So just make sure that when we do put the new bars on, we will have to put this on before we get the bar completely situated because they are wider. And I'm worried that if we wait till the bar is clamped in place, there is not going to be enough room to put the cable back all intact and everything. So this does make the handlebar switch even easier. So now we have to go ahead and take the actual bar itself off now that everything is off of the bar. In this situation, any kind of plastic pry tool would obviously be best. However, I do not have any ones that are that small. I'm just going to go ahead and put some tape right up against where I'm going to use a very small flathead screwdriver, because we do need to get these little plastic caps off of it to get to the screws underneath the clamps. All right, once you got those caps off, obviously you only need to take these 4 screws off. And on the Grom, at least this model, it happens to be a 6mm. That is right on there. So you can see they're about 2 inches wider on each side, and the angle is a little different as well. The other thing that I forgot to mention before, and they do feel a little bit lighter, maybe not terribly lighter, but a little bit lighter. The other thing about these is that they have this brace in the middle that's going to ensure a lot more rigidity and sturdiness to the bar, which will translate to increased sturdiness and rigidity for your feel of the actual motorcycle when you're gripping it, especially if you're going over bumps and doing any kind of stunt work or off-road work with the Grom. A bar with a rigid brace like this is necessary. All right, now you're going to want to loosely fit your new bar to the bike. Just kind of install these screws and everything. Very loose right now, and if you want to add some blue Loctite to these, which I am going to do in a minute, that will help as well, but this is just your initial kind of fitment for it. So you don't want it too loose that it's falling around and wiggling, but you don't want it too tight to where you can't move it easily. So after it's on very loosely, we're going to sit on the bike, get exactly what we want to get placement-wise. But let's not forget to add that throttle tube on there first before we start messing with it. Now that the bars can kind of stand up on their own with nothing besides that throttle tube for reasons we already explained, I'm going to go ahead and sit on the bike. This is the time that you want to sit around on it, make sure that everything is where you want it to be control-wise. Then we're going to go ahead and cinch these bolts down for the clamps, put those little caps back on these bolts, and then we're going to go ahead and install all the rest of the bar controls on there. All right, once your bar is on and everything is clamped down tight where you want it, it's going to be time to reinstall the controls, the levers and everything on your throttle side and also your clutch side. I'm going to loosely install everything, that way we can come back in a few minutes and actually sit back on the bike and determine where we want the levers to be, what angles and everything like that. So loosely install everything back. So something to note when you are going to install a new or install your old grip onto the clutch side, there's two methods. You can either do a WD-40 or a hairspray. Technically, you can also use bar end glue, but you really don't need to for any bikes like these, modern, regular roadworthy bikes. So I've used the WD-40 method before. The hairspray I have not used, but I've heard good things about it. Either or, you will just spray down the end, spray the inside of the grip. The lubricity of it initially will help slide the grip onto the bar, and then you have to let it dry, give it ample time. Last time I did it, I just let it dry overnight. But basically when it dries, the interaction between the WD-40 or the hairspray, obviously hairspray gets sticky when it's dry, but supposedly the WD-40 with the grip, the rubber compound and everything just makes it stick more. Like I said, I've used the WD-40, it works good. I know other people who have used the WD-40 personally, and they've never had an issue with it for over a year now. So hairspray I've not used, but either or, both good. However, this bar has the knurlings on it, so you probably don't even need anything at all. It would probably stick very good by itself. I'm just gonna use a very little bit of WD-40 on a rag and then wipe it on the inside of this grip, mainly to aid in sliding this grip on, because I'm sure it's gonna be a pretty tight fit. All right, so once you get pretty much everything snugged up to the point where it's still loose, but everything is at least on the bar, this is a good time to sit on the bike, grab the controls, see where you want your levers, and then completely tighten everything back down. All right, and the new bars are on the bike, all done. Pretty easy, besides those bar ends that took forever to get out of the bar. Something to know also, the new bars don't have these screws. They do make certain bar ends that will, like sliders, that will go in and just to kind of expand, but these bars specifically do not have the actual threading or even the availability. They're way too hollow, so you can't even like tap it. It's not like it's anything even close to being able to put a bar end in there, at least like the stock bar ends that come on the Honda Grom. The bars, like I did touch on, they feel a little bit lighter, but most of all they're more sturdy, and you get better ergonomics depending on what you're looking for. I didn't really like the stock bars. I was way down, and just to give you a point of reference, I am about 5'8", 5'9", so if you're curious how they are going to fit you depending on your height, and in general, the Grom fits me really comfortable. It's one of those bikes that looks incredibly small when you look at it, and then you get on it, and it still feels small, obviously, but it doesn't feel like a pocket bike, which is almost what it looks like in person. So it's really, really weird how that works, but it does. So bars are on. Easy install. Like I said, let me know. I tried a different method with this. I kept the music completely out of it. Like I said, some people didn't like it. I don't know. I like it when I'm watching install videos, but I figured I would try it without, just to get some feedback from you guys on what you guys prefer. So let me know if you like it with or without the music. And if you did like the music, I'm sorry I did this one without the music. As always, the link to the products that I install are in the description of this. As always, the links to all the products that I install on my videos are in the description below each video. You'll see not only am I wearing a Harley shirt, but I have a Harley in the background. That is my M8 Softail Lowrider S. I have a whole build series devoted to that as a playlist and some other videos and rides I take on that puppy, as well as obviously the build series that we are working on currently for the Grom. And just because I haven't posted anything for the Harley in a while doesn't mean I am done. I have a lot of stuff coming for that. Just took a break to work on the Grom. Links to the playlist for both bikes are down below in every description as well, and also a link to my merchandise store. I have cups, fanny packs, shirts, hoodies, really whatever you kind of want. I got with the Ride and Dad stuff on. I will be uploading some different stuff to it, some different designs as I get them and as I work them out, so it's not just going to be that. I will be expanding on that in months to come. Don't forget to check out my Instagram page and send me a DM, let me know. Comment on this video as always, give it a thumbs up if you appreciated it or liked it and got any kind of value out of it. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you have subscribed and turn on the post notifications so you never miss any one of my videos, which are always great. Watch one of the 2 videos on the screen, and until the next time, guys, ride safe, have fun. Dad out.